Welcome back to Euro Roundup, where we take a look at the action from across the continent, across the weekend. Doogie Critchley is not on board this week, so it's myself and Henry Hill. How are you doing, Henry?
Yeah, good. I'm back at home. I think anyone who remembers our lockdown content will recognise my background very well. I got a lot of mixed reviews for the curtains, I think, last time. Yeah, they're back again for their final showing in 2021. But yeah, no, it was a nice weekend. Just tucking into The Witcher. Watched a bit of Sports Personality of the Year. Well done, Raducanu. Although I wanted Tom Daley to win, I won't lie. Although I didn't realise it's been 15 years since a girl won.
Really? Was that Zara Phillips?
Yeah, so pretty good that that's changed. But yeah, bit of a quiet weekend. How about you?
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I was recovering a bit from a wedding last week. Thankfully, no one I know of who was there has tested positive, so that's good. And heading home this week, hopefully for a fairly unrestricted Christmas. We'll see what happens with that. Situation seems to be changing all the time. But yeah, congratulations to Raducanu. Winning a Grand Slam at 18 is no mean feat, is it? So I do feel like it was pretty deserved. But to the football, because we kick off with our story of the week, a pretty outrageous rumour going around in the last few days, linking Bayern Munich with Leeds United's Raphinha. Henry, what do you make of this one?
Yeah, you know what? I don't hate this rumour. It kind of makes sense, and I think Raphinha is quickly outgrowing his surroundings at Leeds as they continue their tumble down the table. But I mean, this has come from the idea that Bayern are going to lose Kingsley Coman this summer. I think they should do all they can to try and keep him. I really do. But it looks like the 25-year-old is pretty reluctant to extend his stay in Bavaria. And then, we've got Todo Fichajes, that trustworthy source, telling us they're planning to replace him with Raphinha, which could cost somewhere in like the 50 million euro mark, which, I mean, that seems like a lot that Bayern would pay for a player like Raphinha. It's not too far off what they paid for Sane, and I don't think he's a touch on what Leroy Sane is, quite frankly. And, 31-time German champions have only ever signed two players for more than that price tag, Sane and also Lucas Hernandez, which I still think was like a bit of an anomaly in their transfer policy, wasn't he? And I mean, I don't hate it. I think Raphinha is a good player, but he would have enormous shoes to fill. Like, Coman is quality, isn't he? Scored 5, assisted 2 in 15 League and Champions League games this season. I only started 10, bear in mind. It is a bit tricky for those Bayern wingers to sort of carve out the opportunities I think they want all the time there. But he scored in the Champions League final as well, let's not forget. And he looks pretty quality for France when he plays too. I think this would be a good transfer in terms of him being a clear backup winger. But I mean, do you think he's good enough to play for Bayern at this point, McCubbs?
The evidence from this season suggests that he perhaps is. Obviously, Leeds have been pretty poor throughout this season, largely owing to quite a small squad and a lot of injuries. So they've lost 8 of their 18 games so far, but Raphinha has really been their shining light, hasn't he? 8 goals, 1 assist in 16 games. He's just 5 goal contributions off his total for last season. He's obviously quite a different player to Coman. He's not necessarily, your classic kind of pacey to the byline kind of winger. But his numbers are still excellent. 3 shots per 90. A lot of those do come outside the box, but his finishing has been on fire this season. He creates around 2 chances a game as well and completes 2.5 dribbles. He actually ranks in the top 15% of attacking midfielders and wingers for expected assists and progressive passes this term. So he's really up there with the best right now. His 0.5 expected goals and assists per 90 isn't far off Coman's, which is at 0.7. I mean, I say that, actually, that is quite far off. But still, he's very much a player who is, he's growing into, the kind of attacker who I think could thrive at an elite club. Personally, I don't know whether it's Bayern Munich right now. I feel like he is a Champions League quality player, but is he a player who will start for arguably the best club side in world football? I'm not so sure. In that sense, I'm not so sure. And also, would Leeds even sell him for 50 million, considering how important he is to them? He's contributed to 50% of their league goals so far. this season. Again, I'm not sure. I feel like Leeds can probably put whatever price they want on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Raphinha is good enough for Bayern Munich? Could you see this happening? Because we're not so sure. Let us know in the comments below, and let's move on to our results of the week.
Our result of the week this week comes from Germany. Thank you at Liam Hawkins1, huge Football Daily fan. He's gone for Hertha Berlin 3, Dortmund 2. Big win. Big weekend of shocks really across Europe, I'd say, McCubbin. What was it about this game that was so good?
Yeah, I mean, we could have talked about Athletic Club's 3-2 win over Real Betis, couldn't we? Real thriller in Spain. Napoli also beat Milan 1-0 last night. Some drama at the end. Milan thought they'd pulled it back through from Kessié. We're quite unfortunate to have that ruled out from VAR. Bayern obviously smashed Wolfsburg on Friday 4-0. I believe you got all 3 points from a perfect score there, Henry, in our predictions game on Continental Club. Go and check that out if you haven't done so already. Also, Roma beating Atalanta 4-1. What a shock that is in the Serie A title race. So yeah, all good results, by the way, for Inter, who are now 4 points clear going into Christmas. Look like the clear favourites now, don't they? But yes, we're going to talk about Dortmund's 3-2 defeat to Hertha Berlin on Saturday, which saw the capital club fall behind only to score 3 goals in 18 minutes to turn the game on its head and heap more misery on Marco Rose's side. They're now 9 points behind Bayern Munich. It's mad to think only a couple of weeks ago they were 1 point behind, and that tight defeat to Bayern seems to have been a real turning point in the season. But despite the fact they had a lot of players missing, Bellingham was out obviously through that suspension. Hummels and Kobel were out through illness, so that meant that Gracic and Witsel started at centre-back. Dortmund actually started fairly well. Marco Reus missed a couple of excellent chances. Having said that, Hertha also had some decent chances in the early stages as well. But after they took the lead through an excellent Brandt goal, that's his 5th, to go with 4 assists after 14 games this season, really being one of their best players this term. They then seemingly switched off, as we've seen with Dortmund defensively this season, at points just really far from good enough. Belfodil was allowed to run 50 metres unopposed to equalise. Also some pretty questionable goalkeeping from Hitz, I thought, to let that one in. Brandt then failed to clear. That allowed Richter space at the edge of the box for a fantastic first goal for him. And then Brandt gave the ball away, which eventually led to Richter's second. So yeah, some real calamitous defending. Also, having Axel Witsel at centre-back, although he's quite a composed player, is not very quick. So chasing down a centre-forward, he's not really the guy that you want in that position. They've had their injury issues, obviously did quite well to compensate for Haaland being out for that kind of 5-week period was it, kind of between October and November. But this was Dortmund's 9th defeat in 26 games this season, and in 6 of those they conceded at least 3 goals. So it's very clear where their issues lie. 7 sides, including 17th place Arminia Bielefeld, have conceded fewer than their 26 league goals. So yeah, I think going into the January window, or going into the second half of the season at least, Dortmund really do need to sort their defensive problems out, and hopefully Marco Rose will have more centre-backs to choose from in the coming months. But Henry, I mean, Hertha Berlin obviously had that manager change at the end of November, and since then things have been slowly turning around for them.
Yeah, you're so right. Since Tayfun Korkut came in, they've really hit their stride again. Bear in mind, he hadn't really been working since 2018. That was his last job with Stuttgart. But massive kudos to him, because this time last year I said Hertha were my most disappointing side of 2020, and it looked like they'd sort of continued that into the next season when they lost 5 of their first 7 league games. That includes drillings by Bayern and Leipzig. But they've only lost 3 of their last 10 games since. They're now 11th, 6 points behind 6th placed Eintracht Frankfurt, and things can change so quickly in the Bundesliga, as you quite rightly pointed out with the Dortmund situation, that a big top half finish could be on the cards for Hertha Berlin. They've still got a fairly decent squad, but they haven't finished in the top half of the table since 2016-17. That has to be their sort of aim this year. And what was actually so impressive about this win is they did it without Stefan Jovetic, who's their top scorer. I'm pleased for him, actually, because Jovetic has had a pretty tricky few years, hasn't he? So to see him sort of hitting his stride in the German capital is a positive sign. But also they've got backup players who are stepping up to the plate too. Richter, he's now got 5 goals. He was a summer signing too. And then Belfodil, that was his first goal, as you say. They were both massive in this game. But so was Santiago Ascasibar. He was brilliant in the midfield. 5 tackles and interceptions, 3 aerial duels, 1 dribble, 1 shot. All-round display from him, along with Richter as well. 1 interception, 3 shots and 2 goals. And as you said, this sees Marco Rosa's men go 9 points behind Bayern as they head into the winter break. He said after the game, the manager, "Now we will carry a defeat through our holidays, and I hope that it will lead to a change in attitude when we meet in the new year." I mean, out of the Champions League, 9 defeats, as you said, that's a lot of defeats, isn't it, really? I think he's been basically helped by a drop-off in Germany's other big sides. Otherwise, I think that there will be a lot more pressure on Rosa. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, I think he has been fortunate in that sense. Equally, they're 5 points ahead of where they were last season, but I think performances will come. Will catch up with them, and do seem to be catching up with them at this point. But yeah, I think if say RB Leipzig had been as strong as they were last year, or even somewhere kind of near to as strong as they were last year, I think Dortmund would be a lot, under much more pressure, and so would Rosa. But yeah, I think he'll be all right. I think where they are now, considering the kind of injury problems they've had and whatnot, isn't too bad. But I do think, I do think if this kind of form carries on for another month or two, then Rosa will be under pressure. I don't know what you think, Henry.
Yeah, completely agree. And I completely agree with you. I think they need to just they didn't spend much in the summer, but they need to go out and try and get a new centre-half. But at home, which centre-half do you think Dortmund should target? And which players at all do you think they should go for in the January window? Let us know in the comments down below. And whether or not you think Marco Rosa is under pressure. And we'll move on to our star of the week.
Now time for our final section, and best section, according to Doogie. He always loves it, doesn't he? Star of the week. And this one comes in from @Caps Lock with 3 C's. And Henry, it's a player who hasn't always got the most amount of praise on this channel, but a great performance from Hakan Çalhanoğlu on the weekend. Why has he been picked?
Yeah, I feel like Doogie was really pushing this agenda on Twitter, so I can see why Çalhanoğlu's come in. But as we'll get on to, fully deserved. Listen, lots of big performances. Gavi was excellent. Barca's unconvincing 3-2 win over Elche. And more young players appearing in that squad who I've never seen before. But yeah, managed to get over the line there. What a turn. Lovely finish. Great goal from him. Tammy getting a brace. Roma's 4-1 win against Atalanta with Chris Smalling as well on the score sheet. Thrilled for Chris Smalling, actually, because I just think Ibanez and Mancini, they needed a bit of experience next to them, and I'm pleased that now Smalling's kind of back up to speed. He's doing the business there. Shout out to Lewandowski for breaking another Gerd Müller record. I think that's 43 in a calendar year now. And for Tadic for breaking Messi's 2011 record for most assists with 37. Nuts from Dusan Tadic. But Çalhanoğlu, yes, the divisive Turkish international. He was magnificent in Inter's crushing of Salernitana 5-0. Got 2 assists, one from a corner and the second from a lovely through ball to Alexis Sanchez. I'll reinstate it. I said it last time, I'll say it again. Salernitana are not particularly strong, but nonetheless, Çalhanoğlu, he looks really comfortable in that Inter shirt. It looks like a really smart move from him now. He's created 10 chances in a game to go over his 2 tackles and interceptions, 1 dribbles and 2 shots. 10 chances in one match. That is one of the stats, madness, isn't it? Yeah. And then, he's now got 6 goals and 7 assists in 16 Serie A matches. A lot of those, as we expected, some serious bangers from outside the box. And he's averaging a goal contribution every 84 minutes this season. I mean, I think it's going to show just some really smart business by Inter all round, who now have that nice cushy 4-point lead at the top of the table, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, Milan fans in the summer, AC Milan fans were, they were pretty much rejoicing at the fact that Çalhanoğlu was off their wage bill, weren't they? And were quite happy for Inter to take him on. And I think that the general feeling was that it wasn't the best move for them. But it's worked out really well. And yeah, their summer business, was excellent. Dzeko on a free, another player who hasn't been totally convincing in the last couple of years, but has really turned it on at the San Siro. Correa as well, 4 goals and 1 assist in 12 Serie A games. Only 7 of those have been starts. And Dumfries also got on the score sheet with an excellent finish off the crossbar in this game. He was a really good pickup. I think a very undervalued pickup in terms of replacing Achraf Hakimi, all while making a net profit of 145 million euros. Obviously did very well, I think, to get, the fee that they did from Chelsea for Lukaku. And I think it also goes to show how good a manager Simone Inzaghi is. I think, Antonio Conte left a very strong system there, and Inzaghi hasn't changed it up too much. He's fitted these players into that system. He hasn't tried to be too clever. And Inter now are playing, arguably the best football in the division, and are now, 4 points clear. And the results reflect this: 48 goals in 18 league games. I feel like that's near enough the kind of level that we're seeing from a team like Man City this season. And they're also through to the knockout stage of the Champions League for the first time since 2012. So, at the start of the season, retrospectively, I stupidly said that Inter would maybe even struggle for a top 4 finish this term. And I think most people were not necessarily seeing them as favourites for the title. Inter fans could not have hoped to be in a better position at the halfway stage of the campaign. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Hakan Çalhanoğlu? Do you think you can keep up this form for the rest of the campaign? And what do you think about Inter? Are they now clear favourites for the Serie A title? Or can you see Napoli and Milan pushing them till the end? Let us know down below. And Henry, that's all we have time for this week. But there's obviously lots of other great videos that the fans can check out. Are there any picks from you?
Well, yeah, just stay tuned for our Christmas content over the next few days. And check out our Continental Club if you haven't already. I think last one back in the East Dutch Tavern for a while. But I just want to say thanks to everyone who's always sending us ideas. Saw someone telling us about Legia Warsaw, who are in the relegation zone in Poland. They want us to talk about that. And Union Saint-Gilloise, who are top of the Belgian Pro League at the moment, out of nowhere. Owned by the guy that owns Brighton. It's quite an interesting story. These are all stories that we're going to try and sort of talk about at some point in the year. So keep sending your ideas in and have enjoy the Christmas run-in wherever you are. Yeah,
absolutely. Stay safe as well, because we obviously Omicron is on the move. Hope you're all staying safe, and hope you will have a nice Christmas or holiday period. We'll be seeing you more this week with lots of great videos. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.